Okay, Angular 17. We has to use a node version 18.13.0 or newer. What we have, perfect. We have new TypeScript version. We using that one. And yeah, the zone stuff. So, and again, as every version, we make npx and force the installation in first place. Now it will say to me that fix tests, that I has to commit that stuff. Yeah, alright, then try it again. Alright, then we have now Angular 17 installed. As always, we will get issues when we now run npm e, because yeah, there are some packages that get not updated correctly. The most important one, of course, is that one. Same approach as always. So, okay, now let us try to make npm install again. And it failed because of... Oh yeah, that's a very important thing. Sometimes you see like it tries to install something and that looks in first place good. But here, for example, you see a problem because here it says krill thing is a package that wants to have core 17. We'll quickly take a look. Yeah, okay, it was before 17. And sometimes it helps to go the same way again to see if it would work before or what then is needed. Okay. That package here says it wants to be 17. That's totally fine. Ready to learn Angular 19, 20 and 21. This course covers everything new in this latest versions. From hydration, event replay, resource API, signal forms, we cover it all. You will get a complete playground app showcasing all features. Plus, we will build a weather app from scratch to implement everything hands-on. Full source code for both projects included. Check the link in the description. Oh, okay. That looks interesting. It looks like that this version works for the current Angular version or the Angular version 17. That's fine for me. That's sometimes the problem that you can have. Because now, let's take a look if it works. Sometimes you have the decisioning. As you can have seen before, we had here the Angular update that says it wants to have a specific version of NGX, XJS, sorry. And yeah, sometimes it's better to be using the different versions. As you can see, that was the previous one. And yeah, eventually that's now the solution for our parsing problem. Yeah. That's kind of the tip of that migration from 16 to 17, that you sometimes should really go over the specific problems that the npm E has. Because with that one, we only had an issue because I updated here from 16 to 17. Okay, let us quickly take a look. Looks fine, perfect. We can go here, Yeah, that's nice. Go back. We have here some stuff. We can change the project. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, then let us quickly take over that stuff here. We have some style component destroy that now get provided to false. Yeah, you now don't need it anymore. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, handle parser stuff, zone problems, change animation driver, ng switch, disable hydrate, or remove. Yeah, yeah. Most of the time, all of that stuff that Angular here provides are tips to work with the newest technology that they have. Okay, as you can see, we have ticked every step in that migration. That means we are done with the main part of the migration. What we now will do in the next few minutes, make some migrations that Angular provides us to the new control flow. That's really important to know. The command for that is ng-generate, and then you can type in the control flow. Then it asks you what path you want to migrate and if it should reformat your templates. We agree with both of them. And what it have not now doing is it migrates the ngIfs to the new annotation and ng4 to a for loop, the ngIfs with an if, and so on. It really kind of migrates everything that we liked about that stuff. And if we now run npm start, we here have some issues with that change. The reason for that is that it says argument of type string is not assignable to parameter of type issue priority. We will quickly push that with migration control flow. So commit that, yes. So. And what we now will do is check out the HTML and it already has here some issues. And when we check the TypeScript file, it says, well, yeah, that one, and yeah, here it wants an issue priority, but we're providing here, yeah, I think eventually I have to restart the VS Code quickly. So, yeah, now it says to me here that the type is wrong, and we can go to that type here and yeah, we'll quickly adjust that one to, yeah, has a value that is, yeah, not from string anymore. It is now issue priority. If we start it again, yeah, okay, we have more issues like that. Okay, yeah, here it's also not issue type. Yes. Okay, is it that one? Yeah, looks nice. And when we refresh now, everything works fine, perfect. We can drag task from one to, yeah, that's also nice. Okay, that's like fixing migration issues. So, okay, yes. So then we will go with the next migration, because yeah, we want to have as much as possible from the new Angular version. We can run the same comments for standalone components. Then we can say convert all components, directive and pipes to standalone. We want to migrate everything. And now Angular tries to make the best to have only standalone components. That's not always possible, but as you can see, it really tries its best to make that happen. And yeah, as you can see, it really already makes standalone components. You can see that it kind of removed a lot of imports from modules. And we can now try what happens when we run npm start. So, and as you can see, we already have standalone components now, and everything works fine. That's really impressive. We can see that we're using Angular 17, but we have one remaining thing that we're currently not directly doing, because you can see here that we have the source app project thing, but everything we are doing, nothing gets lazy loaded. In that example, it's not that important, because yeah, as you can see, overall the bundles and so on are not that big. But yeah, because we are in the Angular course, we want to yeah, make everything like it should be, like migration to standalone components. So yes, all right. And now we have to make a little bit manual work, because as you can see, we have this app module and yeah, the problem is that we have to get away from that stuff. And what we only have missing is that in this last migration we have done, we have this bootstrap the application using standalone APIs. That's also important, because with that we get away from this app module, because what it does is it, yeah, using the new approach of Angular 17, as you can see now, we have no app module anymore. But what we now have is in the main.js, we have a bootstrap application where we provide everything we need. And we can run npm start again to, yeah, have this new bootstrap application thing. Everything works the same as before, but now with the Angular 70 bootstrap logic. And next, we want to try, alright, then let us try to firstly make lazy routing. What we have to do for that is to checking into that one here, and as you can see already, that components here get provided directly. What Angular 70 or also versions earlier have the possibility that you provide an styling. In our example here, that's the case for the board. And here the board component, and then we have to make a then, and that's the module that we want to lazy load, and in that one we want to provide the board component. So, which means we don't need that anymore. And also we not make the semicolon. We can do the same for the settings component and for the full issue details component. And what we also can do, because of the standalone component approach, we can get rid of most of the modules, because we want to make the modules as small as it is possible for us. Which means all of that modules are not needed here anymore. Because as I said, we have the standalone component approach, which means that all modules that we're providing are part of the component. Now we have a problem with the ng module service, because it says that it not get provided. Of course, to fix this, we also need to provide that one. We have to go to the main TS file, and we now need also to provide this, that the nz module. Think it has to be that one. Isn't it like that? We're compiling. Now it works. Nice. And what we now have is, if you take a look on and refresh the page, you see that we have here a app source project page board component. But if we, for example, go into that one on another page, you see that we're loading a different file. That's like the lazy loading approach. And we also can take a look what route we also have, the settings. Okay, that's also of course something. And you can see that we have now splitted the main bundle into multiple ones. What we also now will take a look on the defer option that we have. Because we have a lot of modals here, we could of course think of lazy load them to make a better application. What we will use for that is checking inside of the issue description, that one. And here for example we have a bundle, the quill editor, and we don't want to have that initially be loaded, because Could be that this editor is not needed, because that only happens if you're clicking inside of the cell. And if we now doing that, and it's so simple, we have now the possibility that if we checking again on the network and refreshing the page, that if we now go into that one and clicking here, okay, that's a bad example, we will go into a different one. Yeah, you see kind of here that we loaded a node module, lazy, which means if I start working with the app, going into that, nothing happens. But if I click into that, you see that we lazy loaded code here, like not that much, but we loaded the library that is used to make this editor happening, lazy, which, yeah, helped us with making some stuff easier. We also will make some other examples. A quick one would be to looking for project search. Oh yeah, there's a search here. And there we have search drawer. And for example, we have here this search drawer. That's a sidebar here where you can search for stuff. And it's also a part of the application that is not initially there, which means if we make a defer around it, and yeah, make no specific use case, only if this part of the application get loaded, it should load it. And then we also have in the network an request, if you click on that, to get the search issue result component. And that's the cool thing about the new defer and the stay alone components, because we can now really lazy load components easily, independent if it's a dialog or some hidden features, because yeah, it's the best to load only stuff, or most likely big stuff, only when you need it. And yeah, with that you get the bundle size decreased, make everything even better. And yeah, that's it with the migration part of the course. I hope you learned a lot, and the next thing will be to creating an application from scratch, and hopefully I will see you.